Hey guys, so I'm here today, right? Because I have someone in my who watched one of my videos, and they wanted me to do a video about how to heal the dismissive avoidance style. And I thought, you know what? I didn't have much time today. I had my schedule full, but I say, let me do this and move my schedule around a bit so that they can get started on this, because I know it's so very difficult to really be someone in that position, and you're just going around and doing the same things over and over again. So basically, let's get started. I'm going to start with the core wounds of this person who is who has a dismissive avoidance style of attaching. Right? They actually got this from when they were children, or it could have been even later in life when they were in a kind of a relationship that made them this way, that created that kind of attachment style, right? So let's get started with the core wounds, which is usually a fear of abandonment, fear of being emotionally vulnerable, fear of dependency on anyone, and lack of trust. These are a few of them, right? Now, what happened is that the fear of abandonment is because they always kind of felt abandoned in that relationship where their caregivers were, they may have been present at some time, but sometimes they just could not find them, or they may have needed to be changed by their caregivers. And then basically what happened is that their caregivers were nowhere to be found. So it was a kind of they could never trust, and that is where this lack of trust also comes in. They could never trust that there was somebody going to be there to take care of them, or to be there for them when they needed them. The next thing is just they tried to avoid being dependent on anyone, because that was another way they felt when their caregivers that was there to take care of them, or whoever it was that was in the relationship with them, they realized that they could not really fully depend on these people. So they withheld that kind of dependency on anyone, and they instead tried to self-soothe by doing other things. Like a lot of dismissive avoidance people who with this attachment style, what they will do is they will throw themselves head on into their work. They will throw themselves head on into other things, gaming or pornography, something that they know they can always depend on to be there when they needed it, right? Now, the reason why someone with this kind of a style finds it difficult to attach to anyone, and I mean, you might see these people and you notice that they never ever give of themselves fully. You always feel like they're holding something back, right? They're always holding a part of themselves back. You never feel as if this person is fully into the game with you. They're not into the trenches of that relationship with you. There's a sense of uncertainty that you have, because this person there's like a wall, a barrier between you and them. And it's usually, and if it's not it's usually in the relationship, an emotional barrier. But then they can also create a physical barrier by just wanting to be by themselves. And a lot of this happens because they find it very difficult to be emotionally vulnerable. They find it very difficult to open themselves and just be vulnerable in how they love someone, because they fear, they don't trust, because of those core wounds in their childhood or in other past relationships, and they don't feel that they can depend on anyone, right? So they hold that a part of them close to them, so that they do not give everything of themselves. And if they feel that they're being smothered by somebody else, that's how they feel. They feel like they're being smothered when somebody is wants to spend too much time with them, or they will be getting too emotionally close to them. They start to feel smothered, and then you'll see that they start distancing. They'll just disappear sometimes. So how does someone with this attachment style heal? How can you heal yourself? Well, it's going to stem from all those things that were your core wounds. You now have to come face to face, guys, and that is the most difficult thing for someone with this attachment style. Because, I mean, these are things that they avoided because they did not want to feel that pain, right? You might hear some noise outside because today is when they're doing the lawn, and I hope it doesn't disturb this recording. But if you hear it, that's what it is. So basically, when I mentioned earlier that they had a lack of trust, now what this person needs to do to heal is to now allow themselves to the relation, if they have a relationship, but they have to know little by little, tiny steps, because they can't do too, in big chunks. It's going to be too overwhelming because emotional vulnerability is very overwhelming to someone with this attachment style. So you have to do little tiny steps, so maybe you could do allow somebody say something, then you can trust that they will do it. And little by little, instead of negating the fact that, or responding in a way that, they're not going to do it, I don't trust them. Open that little part of you to really be able to embrace the fact that the person said they're going to do it, that they're going to do it, right? Now, guys, now it's possible that they won't do it, but I also need for you to understand that the one thing in all of this that you have to understand is that it's not going to be, do not blame yourself for that. It is on that other person's character that they promised to do something and they didn't do it. So I want you to also know that when you put yourself out there to allow somebody, to believe that you can actually trust someone in these tiny steps, tiny baby steps, then if they don't do it, then you have to realize that is a way you protect yourself. Realize that it's not your fault, it's the other person's fault, right? Why they could not carry out what they promised to do. All right. The next thing the core wound would be a sense of abandonment. Now you have to come to terms with, say, for example, you've always been abandoned. You have to put yourself in the position that, okay, this person, say they're always going to be there for me, and you have to become vulnerable, but little by little, guys, small baby steps. And the same thing with being dependent on someone. Maybe there's a time when somebody said they were going to come and help you move, or somebody's going to come and, they're going to come and take you to the doctor or whatever it is. Little by little, allow yourself to be dependent on someone, little baby steps at a time, so that you can get to build that feeling of being able to trust, to be dependent on someone else other than yourself. Because so far what you've done is that you have decided that, I'm not going to depend on anyone, so I'm going to do everything myself, right? So you have no expectations of anyone. And so you're living your life in this little shell of a place where you don't depend on anyone, you don't trust anyone. And as soon as somebody comes up that might, you feel might shatter that kind of thing, then you run and you hide, right? So it's just really exposing yourself. Know what it is that you have issues with. Know your core wounds, guys, and focus a little at a time on each of those. I think these lawn people are here again. I hope you guys can hear me. So the next thing, this is when you're with a partner, right? You have to be able to deal with these core wounds. These core wounds that you have. What you need to do is to know who your partner is. So before you even start the process, make a list of the good things, the things that you believe your partner is, the good things, and why you believe that you can trust your partner, right? And then when you acknowledge that you can actually trust this person because this person really loves you and they're there for you, even when you make them really angry, they're stuck in there with you in the trenches, right? And if you know this is a person you can trust, then have a talk with them. And I know this is difficult as well because this is now opening up yourself to be emotionally vulnerable, right? Have a talk with this person. Sit down and say, I know there are things that you're not satisfied with how I react or respond to certain things, and not satisfied within the relationships. And I acknowledge that there are some areas that I have problems with, and I want to work through them with you. Ask them to be really aware that sometimes on how they respond to you, like in the way they talk to you, because you're very vulnerable to criticism as well. So say it in a way that you'll maybe come up with a kind of a plan that both of you are comfortable with in kind of reflecting these things off of each other, okay? And then with the person that you have, your partner or whatever it is, just basically just little by little, maybe there are things that you just didn't do before. You just didn't send. Say you want to share your heart with them, being emotionally vulnerable. You'll send them maybe a note and said, I was just thinking about you, or hope all is well, whatever it might be. But just to let yourself little by little become vulnerable, right, in that relationship. Now, there's an additional part that you have to do by yourself. You don't need a partner to do this, but basically what you're going to do is you're going to have to reprogram your subconscious, because guys, all of these core wounds was subconsciously, and it was downloaded while you were a child, or while you may have been in a relationship that was not good, and that caused you to have these core wounds. But these were subconscious things that entered your subconscious without you even realizing, especially between the years of zero, the child, from the moment you're born to about 8 years. What happens is that you're basically absorbing everything. You're not looking to see if it makes sense or anything. You're just absorbing it, right? So all of that thing is inside of you. And now you have to basically reprogram those things. And so in doing that, you're now going to have to come up with all the things that, first of all, just basically write a list about the things you love about your partner, the things you love about yourself, right? And what you're going to do is that you want to reprogram your whole, all of those core wounds and make it more positive so you can live a healthy life and have healthy relationships. So what you're going to do is basically you're going to write down the things you love about yourself, the things that you want to be, right? And in the morning, just as you wake up, and in the nights just before bed, that is when your subconscious is more amenable to new information coming in, right? So those are the times you're going to get up and you write that thing down. And I'm thinking of actually doing maybe a meditation for people, individuals with this subconscious, different styles. But I think I'll start with this style. I'll do a meditation that you can do in the mornings. But each person is going to be different. So, there might be different things that you want to write down. I am loved. I can trust. I can trust those who love me. Whatever it is you want to write down that is going to break that pattern, that negative, the negative core wounds that you had, and make it more positive, right? So the next thing you're going to do, as I said, write down your list and meditate on those things morning and night, because you're rewriting, you're constantly rewriting that program that you grew up with, thinking that this is how I am. And then what you do is you respond through everything that you do, every relationship that you're going, you respond through those lens of that sense of feeling abandoned, right? Feeling criticized, feeling just like you cannot depend on anyone. So now you're going to try and just reprogram those thoughts, reprogram those beliefs, so that it becomes, and you have to do it often, you have to do it every day, guys. This thing that this attachment style that you have, was developed over years. And maybe you're in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s. See how long that took to really just solidify in your brain. So now you basically have to reprogram all of that, and it's going to take time. And it's with these affirmations and these meditations in the morning and nights, and also by putting yourself out there little by little, by doing, going out of your comfort zone a little bit each day, a little bit. You want to do one thing that is uncomfortable. Make a little plan and say, I'm going to do one thing that's uncomfortable each day. So for example, write down on your calendar, make it really solid, guys. Don't depend on every day you get up and you might think that, oh, I'll just remember to do it. No, this is something that you have to take really seriously if you want to change those subconscious reprogramming that you had as a child or even as an adult when you were in really toxic relationships, right? So basically every day, write down, okay, you could say, one day I'm going to just sit and listen instead of going off into, leaving my partner when she's upset and she wants to talk or whatever it is. Just do that one thing that day, right? Just sit with it. It's going to be very uncomfortable because, as I said, emotional vulnerability is not a strength of someone with a dismissive, avoidant, attachment style. So do one thing each day, one thing every day, and you would be surprised at how over time, little by little, guys, if you do one thing every day, you'll be surprised at by the end of the year how you have changed without even realizing it. So guys, I hope, by the way, the other thing I want to mention which is very important, because a lot of the times, because of this pre-programming of our subconscious in our childhood or from other relationships, past relationships, what happens is that now we're seeing automatically, it's an automatic response, right? Everything that happens to us or everything, it triggers an automatic response. And how does that begin? We start the first thing is a thought, right? The first thing is a thought. And then that thought just creates some kind of a feeling. And usually in this case, it's a negative feeling to that thought, right? Now, what you need to do is when that thought comes up, guys, you have to learn to question those thoughts. Question the hell out of those thoughts, right? Is this true? Does this make sense? Has this happened before, right? Question the thoughts before they take root into your mind and continue on that subconscious level that you had before. Break it up. That's how you break that link. So always question your thoughts. And so by the time you finish questioning that thought, you realize I was just kind of like operating out of an automatic response, with all the things that happened in my childhood, perhaps, or in earlier relationships. So if you question those thoughts, guys, ask, does this make sense? Is this true? And you will realize that, no, it doesn't make sense. It's not true. Okay. And also, let's see what else I have. You could ask yourself, could there be a different reason why this is, is there other reason that this could have happened? Just question those thoughts, right? And just practice also focusing, have a list also, another list of things that you're grateful for, right? Things that you're grateful for in your relationship right now, and also things that you're grateful for yourself, for you. And when you write those things and you keep repeating those things, because all the things that you repeat, those are the ones that are going to be built to reframe your whole attachment style and also reprogram your subconscious so that now you start thinking and acting in a different way. All right, guys, I hope that helps, and I'll catch you another time. I hope my friend who made the comment that she wanted this video, I hope that you find it useful. And if you do, guys, like and share for me. I would appreciate it, so I can continue making these videos for you, this content for you. All right, guys, take care and have a great day. Take care of yourselves, by the way, with this virus thing that's going on. I wish you all well, and I'll see you next time. Take care, guys. This is Christine, your relationship and mindset master doctor, and your leverage for change. Have a great day. Bye.